840. Now, that's not a year, it's not a measure of wealth or power, but this single number, it holds the key to one of the most complex human stories anywhere on Earth. It's a number that truly defines an entire nation.
That's right, 840 is the number of known spoken languages in Papua New Guinea. It is, by far, the most linguistically diverse country on the entire planet. Think about this. 12% of all human languages are spoken right here, by less than 1% of the world's population. It's just staggering. So to even begin to understand how that could possibly happen, we have to start with the land itself.
You see, to get a handle on the people, you first have to understand the land. Because here, the land isn't just a backdrop, it's the main character. It's a world forged in tectonic violence, creating a crucible for diversity that's pretty much unlike anywhere else. Over 70% of the nation is just shrouded in the world's third largest rainforest. And we're not just talking about a bunch of trees. This is a sprawling, ancient world, a vital lung for our planet, and a sanctuary for species we haven't even discovered yet.
This is a land that is constantly creating and destroying itself. It sits right on the Pacific Ring of Fire, so it's alive with these immense geological forces. These 14 active volcanoes are a constant reminder that the ground here is never really still. It's always shifting, always reshaping the world above it.
And then, rising straight out of that jungle, you have the mountains, a rugged, almost impassable spine that runs the entire length of the island, with peaks that just tear at the sky. For thousands of years, these valleys didn't just separate communities, they created entirely separate worlds. Which, of course, brings us to a really fundamental question. In a landscape that seems specifically designed to keep people apart, a place so fragmented by nature itself, how did humanity not only survive, but, well, how did it flourish into this incredible tapestry of cultures? Well, the answer begins deep, deep in our shared past. The settlement of this island is one of humanity's great migrations. It's a story of incredible resilience, written across tens of thousands of years. And this is where the scale of time just gets mind-boggling. Humans first arrived here 45,000 years ago. They independently invented agriculture 9,000 years ago. And yet the political country that we call Papua New Guinea, it's less than 50 years old. You're looking at an ancient people living in a profoundly young country. So in this fragmented world, society was held together by something called the one-talk system. The name comes from the words one talk, and it means, quite literally, those who speak your language. This is the fundamental social glue, an intricate web of obligation that defines who you trust, who you're loyal to, and who you have to support, even to this day. And leadership, well, it wasn't typically inherited, it had to be earned. In these traditional societies, the big man was a leader who gained influence through skill, through generosity, and the ability to build consensus and share wealth. It was a fluid, merit-based system, a really stark contrast to the rigid monarchies that dominated so much of the rest of the world. For thousands of years, these societies evolved in their own little worlds. But in the late 19th century, the outside world finally arrived, and with it came this violent collision of worlds that would forge a new and often very difficult identity. The island was just carved up by colonial powers. Germany took the north, Britain took the south. These were just arbitrary lines on a map that paid absolutely no attention to the thousands of years of culture and trade and conflict that already existed. They imposed a new order that would have consequences for generations to come. And then, war came crashing in. During World War II, these mountains and jungles became a brutal battleground. The Kokoda Track campaign was a ferocious turning point in the Pacific War, and it came at a devastating human cost. For many Papua New Guineans, this was their first violent introduction to the global stage. After the war, the two territories were united under Australian administration, which eventually led to this moment, September 16, 1975, independence. It was a day of just immense national pride, but it also marked the beginning of this monumental challenge. How do you unite hundreds of distinct societies into a single, functioning country? The new nation's economy was built on the incredible wealth hidden right beneath its soil. Natural resources, we're talking gold, copper, natural gas, they came to absolutely dominate its exports. This brought in money, yes, but it also brought a deep dependence on these industries, creating a central paradox that really defines the nation's future. All of this has led to the Papua New Guinea we see today,
a nation of stunning contrasts and profound paradoxes, where the ancient and the modern are coexisting in this constant, dynamic tension. You see, despite all that resource wealth, Papua New Guinea is still an overwhelmingly rural nation. The vast majority of its peoples still live in customary communities, their lives rooted in subsistence farming, really far from the centers of power. And that disconnect is so crucial to understanding the country's modern challenges. And those challenges are immense. We're talking about widespread corruption, constant political instability, some of the highest rates of gender-based violence in the world, and serious environmental threats to its most precious resource, the rainforests. These aren't simple problems. They're deeply rooted in that collision between traditional ways of life and modern government. And yet, amidst all these fractures, there is a powerful, unifying force, and it's probably the last thing you would expect: rugby league. It is more than just a sport here. It is a national obsession. It's a modern arena where all those ancient tribal rivalries get channeled into team loyalties, creating this rare, passionate common ground for a divided nation. And so, we end up right back where we started. In a nation of 840 languages, countless distinct cultures, and a landscape that seems designed for separation, how do you build one future? The story of Papua New Guinea is not a story with easy answers. It's the story of the ongoing, the uncertain, and the absolutely extraordinary search for one.